It's a bit windy here, and there is some rain, little rain.
There we go. Beautiful.
Okay.
Hello.
So
How are
this is
you?
exciting. I'm good. I can hear you now, but this is exciting for me because I've never done it this side. So I'm thrilled to do it this way.
Okay. It's basically the same, but of course we are on top and you are, well, down.
People want to see you, not me. Like the text scrolls over my face.
Yeah.
So
Can I
excellent.
hear
So
you?
can you
Yeah,
all introduce?
can you repeat, please?
Can you introduce yourselves for me?
Yes, my name is Marlena Letta. I'm the social media marketing manager for Gorghi Tondi. And
And this is Ivan. Hi, I'm the
Hi, Eva.
export manager. Ciao, hi,
Awesome.
Jeff.
Nice to
anyway,
meet you. Don't worry about it then. We'll just introduce.
Okay.
okay. For any question, please write a direct message directly at Gorghi Tondi. Okay, no problem.
Well,
Much. So Ivan, you want to start? You tell us about yourself and say your name because I don't know how to pronounce your name and what your job
I-
is and how you got to have this job, like your history and.
Ivan. Yes, yes. But let me, no, Marilena will be, she's better. She explained to you the history of the winery, and then maybe we can continue about the distribution in US about our wines.
Perfect. Great.
So let me, come giro la camera?
Hello, Jess. Can you see me?
Beautiful. That's so great.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm showing you what I have behind me. That is the WWF Oasis. We are inside, so basically a part of the estate is inside of Wawa Found Oasis, and there are some vineyards over there. There is a vineyard just behind me that is a very ancient Grillo vineyard, from which we make one of the wines we produce. The winery today is run by the two sisters, Ana Maria and Clara Sala, and they are the fourth generation of a family always buying to this area, so western part of Sicily. We are in Mazzara del Vallo, and they have always been involved in winemaking. In the past, it was mostly with the Marsala production, so basically they own the lands where the grapes were produced for Marsala production. Since 2000, they started a new project. It's a family project, and the two sisters run respectively the commercial and communication. This is Anna Maria, and administration. This is Clara. So today we have a total of 320 hectares around us, running from here, just behind me, to the sea. So in a matter of a kilometer, we have the Mediterranean Sea. So we have this stretch of vineyards with few indigenous grapes. Grillo is probably the bigger part.
Grillo. Okay. And I'm so explain the reservation called WF. You said. Can you explain how that what it is and how the wine land is inside there?
We don't. What do you mean? We don't make blends. We
The land that you're on is like a preserve, right?
Yeah, we are inside of a nature reserve, protected since 1998. So basically everything that you can see inside of the nature reserve cannot be modified. So if a vineyard is going to die, we cannot grow a new vineyard in that spot. So we need to abandon completely the area to nature. Of course, this was one of the main reasons why the winery started producing organic wine since the beginning, and checking for reaching the goal of 100% certification on the vineyards. So basically, since 2016, we have obtained the certification for organic. So all the wines we produce inside of the property are 100% organic certified.
Okay. Can you step back and just give us a very broad view of Sicily, the winemaking in Sicily and Marsala? and Grillo, many people have not heard of Grillo. So for consumer people, you know.
Okay, so this part of Sicily, we are on the westernmost tip of Sicily, Mazzara del Vallo, just in front of the Mediterranean Sea. Well, if we look south, there is Africa and Tunisia just in front of us, just to give you an idea. In this area, Grillo is probably the most grown grape variety, is a white grape, indigenous to Sicily since the middle of the 19th century, and it was mostly used for Marsala production together with two others grapes, Inzolia and Catarratto. All of them white grapes, okay? This is super traditional. So the beginning of Grillo is, of course, making oxidative fortified wine. Since the 90s, these kind of traditions started being a little bit modified with modern winemaking. So early picking, stainless steel, control of the temperatures, because of course we are on an island, we are in the Mediterranean, the temperatures are quite hot. Well, today I am sleeveless, basically. It's 25 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I don't remember the conversion to Fahrenheit, but it's quite hot for being the middle of May. And it's normal. In Sicily, it can be normal this way. So Grillo started being used as a dry white wine. It can be used both in a fresh, crisp, easy to drink version, but it can age well too. So basically you can use oak if you want, but the most important thing to know about Grillo is that it's super versatile. So you can make Marsala, you can make dry wine, you can make sparkling wine, you can make sweet dessert wine from it. So it's really a king in this area.
So what is it called when it's sparkling and when it's sweet?
The big difference is when you pick the grapes. Of course, if you want to make a sparkling, you want to keep the acidity, so you're going to harvest early. Consider that Grillo is normally harvested at the beginning of August here. So if you want to make a sparkling, you start harvesting beginning of August. If you want to make a dessert wine or an oxidative style, you're going to harvest beginning of September, middle of September.
Okay.
So it changes a lot. Also in terms of vintage of the vines, concentration, wind, there are a lot of things that can change.
Okay. And what is the sparkling wine called?
Our sparkling wine is called Palmarès. It is not a traditional method, it's a tank method. And we started making this in 2011 for the first time. We're going to check with Ivan later, but I think it's not in the US market.
No, yes.
Yeah, it is available. It is available.
Both in New York and in South Carolina, in Raleigh.
Okay.
Yes,
and then what is the name for the sweet? What is that called?
Sorry, what is the name for?
The name of the sweet wine.
The sweet wine is something very special. It is called Grillo d'Oro, golden Grillo, and basically it's a rarity because nowhere else in Sicily you can find something like this, because we make this wine from a vineyard that is so close to the sea, and it happens that from time to time you have botrytis, so noble rot attacking the bunches of grapes, and these make from time to time a very special dessert wine. There is no other wine like this made from Grillo in Sicily.
Okay. So how do you, between the light and crisp style, full-bodied style, what is the difference in the winemaking?
Winemaking basically starts from the vineyard. For example, our lighter version of Grillo that I have here, because it bears the name, this is something that you can find in the US too. It is called Costa Preola, because Preola is one of the names of the lakes behind us, and Costa is the coast, the coastal area. So this vineyard, for example, is just 15 years. So we are going to tend to make a little bit more production, so a wine that is crisp and easier to drink. From a vineyard that is today 30 years old, we make some more concentrated Grillo. We use always stainless steel winemaking for all the whites, no oak for any of these wines. And of course, on the other side, you have more concentration. And the main characteristic of this area, that is the salt, because we are so close to the sea in a so windy area that the salt is really the very final touch you're going to have in your mouth when tasting the wines.
Wow. Before I forget, Becky Sue F says to say hello to. She's a wine journalist that has visited, and she's the one that recommended I
Okay.
So say hi to her.
Hello. It's Becky. I think.
Ciao, Becky.
It's Becky,
Then,
right? Yeah.
and then
I know her, but Ivan know her better than me.
Right, exactly. She said say hi to Ivan. For the other white wine, then what do you do differently in winemaking for that?
I didn't hear you very well.
Said you make 2 dry white wines.
Yeah, we make a total of 17 different wines. Yeah, from mostly indigenous grapes. Aside from Grillo, that represent 35–40% of the entire production, we also have, for the traditional white Catarratto, we also have some little Damaschino that is very typical here, and it's quite so rare to find. And we also make dry muscat that is called locally Zibibbo. On the red side, what we have is Nero d'Avola, of course, that is considered the prince of Sicilian grapes, red Sicilian grapes. Some Frappato and Nerello Mascalese, that are 2 grape varietals coming from Western Sicily, so we like to experiment a lot. And a few years ago, we started making these wines. Of course, Frappato is lighter and easy to drink. And with Nerello, that is the king on the Etna slopes, we make a rosé wine. And we only have an international grape that is Syrah, of course, because it's very used to hot temperatures and dry climates. So here it performed very, very well. So it was the first red wine made at the winery, the very first wine coming out of the winery in 2005. So we started with the reds, and those are the only reds that make some oak aging, Syrah and Nero d'Avola.
Okay. And is all of the vineyard within the land?
Yes, here we have basically 2 contrada. We are talking about the district idea. So we have a district called San Nicola that is around the vineyard, and one that is far 10 kilometers from here that is called Ramisella. So we have these 2 separate areas, but the maximum is 10 minutes drive from one to the other. So even for the harvest, this is super important to be close, because it's hot when we harvest, and we want to maintain the quality and the freshness of the grapes.
And the preserve, is it for animal or agriculture, or just so that it stays wild?
All around in the preserve we have, Mediterranean maki, so you have basically wild plants that you cannot touch. You have a lot of birds that stay here to fly to Africa. So there are a lot of turtles on the beach, all protected species that can find here a safe place, basically. So depending on the time of the year, you're going to discover a lot of birds and animals and flowers and beautiful nature all around you.
And how many hectares of vineyard do you have?
In total, it's 130. So here, and the other property. It's quite big, and this is also one of the things that helps you experiment a lot, because you are close to the sea, or in the middle, or close to the lake. So all these slight differences change the different wine we produce.
So what are the different types that you have?
What is the difference between?
The soil types.
Okay, so basically in this area, we are very close to the Mediterranean Sea. It's just 1 kilometer from the cellar to the beach. We have mostly limestone, and we have a lot of fossils, because of course here you are on what was seafloor in the past. Millions of years ago, this was seafloor. Today, it is emerged, and you have vineyards on top of it. When we move to the other district, that is Ramisella, that is going to Marsala, but always staying very close, it's more red soil. So it's red clay, basically, and terra rossa.
Wow. Okay. Now, who is your market? Do you sell most to Italy, sometimes Belgium, America? Who are customers?
Okay, now it's the the sales staff, so I'm going to pass the screen to Ivan. Okay.
Okay, Zef, yeah, I'm back. Okay, replying your question, I will say that 70% of the total production now we sell in the domestic market, so in Italy. Talking about the rest, we export in Europe, of course. As you told, Belgium, Germany is the most important country in Europe. Poland, France, or more or less in all Europe, and then US, Canada, and Japan. So
Japan too. Yeah, they're big customers.
yeah, and talking about US, of course, in New York, we have few shops in Manhattan. The most important is named Embassy Wine and Spirits, that is in Lexington and 62.
Where
They
is
have
it?
a very large selection of our wines.
Can you say
Very
Embassy?
pardon? Embassy Wine and Spirits, yeah, in Lexington and 62 Street. But we also have our Nero d'Avola by the Glass at the Soho House restaurants chain in Brooklyn, is in New York. There is very popular Italian style restaurant. In San Francisco, in North Carolina, in Chicago. Now we are approaching Florida, Miami. So, you know, step by step is not easy. The market is very tough, very competitive, but the quality, the style of our wines, and of course the fact that we are organic growers, but also sustainable growers. So these elements give us the opportunity to be much more appreciated.
And Ivan, that is your job, right? You do the sales, so you come to America?
Yeah. I depend on this period, unfortunately. But in February, I was in US, and when I went back home, the lockdown started.
Yeah.
But I really look forward again to coming and promoting our wines, because US is a fantastic market and a lot of potential.
So can you tell us what life in Sicily is like now? Like a little bit normal. I've never been. So is it just in general what Sicily is like under the quarantine?
I mean, we stay home. Definitely, we have been spending almost 60 days at home. And actually, this is the first day in Italy where you can go out. You can. So the lockdown is supposed to be over.
And we have to wear this.
But we have always to wear the masks.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
But is it better in Sicily because it's an island?
But there are different ideas, climate, but also because we didn't have so many cases compared to the north, where they had like a bomb. So we were lucky, actually. But maybe also the climate, the winds, everything, maybe it could also help us.
So, my brain just died on me.
Let's.
Okay, yeah. Here we are.
I wanted to show you the panorama, because that is actually a fantastic panorama.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not working.
Oops. Jeff, are you here?
Okay.
Okay.
It was like,
there's a little arrow button you can hit so it goes out of selfie mode and you can show us around.
okay, sure. Okay, here it is.
Wow. That's something.
Of course, just in front of us, you can see some of the new vineyard. For example, the yellow spot that seems quite empty over there.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have the rest of the vineyards. Well, the yellow spot is the
Nero
Is
d'Avola.
the new Nero d'Avola planting we
Oh.
did. So it is a baby vineyard for the moment, and it's going to be normally considered that the vineyard can be used after 3-4 years. So during the first years is you just take care of it, but you can do nothing from it. Just a lot of work.
Yeah. So what is happening in the vineyard right now? Are you flowering yet?
Yeah, this is the moment, sorry, oops.
So,
This is the moment where I'm going to show you the place, so it's better than my face. This is the moment they normally do what is called green harvest. So basically they're going to take off some, I don't remember the name in English.
Suckers? Or
The
no,
suckers, yeah, the suckers. Yeah, they take off the suckers and they decide to take off some leaves, even if considering the normal climate condition in Sicily, leaves for us represent a kind of a protection because they shade. So we are going to normally leave more leaves on the vines compared to northern regions, for example, because, well, today is already very hot. And considered in June, July, you need to bear all this time under a fierce sun. So the leaves are something that really shade like an umbrella from the sun and protect a little bit. And yes, this is more or less what they are doing in this moment.
wow. Before I forget, when we end this and you close the interview, there's going to
Yeah.
pop an option to save to IGTV.
Yeah.
So do that, and then I can pull it. I can download it and put it on YouTube so people can see this afterwards.
Okay. What I'm going to do exactly, because I normally yeah.
It's a new thing that Instagram Live does. When you hit end,
Okay.
it will give you an option to save to IGTV. And just
Okay. Perfect.
and
Okay.
IGTV, and then I can get it for
Okay, this is new because last time, for example, it was just in the stories for 24 hours and then disappeared. So
yeah.
nice to know that. Okay, perfect.
So
Okay.
Sicilian food and what food you put with your wines?
Okay, so this area is, of course, we are on the Bronx side because we are on the lake sides, but normally it's fish. So we are in Mazzara del Vallo, that is the biggest fleet of fishermen in the Mediterranean, talking about Italy. So we are in the middle of fish. And for fish, I mean everything from oily fish to scampi to gambero rosso, that is the red shrimp, the royal red shrimp. So basically tuna, the red tuna, this is the moment entering the Mediterranean in this very moment, reaching the end of the Mediterranean where the tuna leave the eggs and going back in the Atlantic Ocean. So this is really the fish. And the most representative dish of this part of Sicily and Mazzara del Vallo and Trapani province in general is couscous, fish couscous. Remember, we are just in front of Africa. We had a lot of Maghrebi workers coming here. So basically, we merged the traditions and the cuisine. So maintaining the couscous tradition, but using the fish that is typical from this area.
Wow. And then if you're having your red wine, what do you put with the red wine that you make, the Nero d'Avola?
Well, it depends. If it is a light red, you can go with cheese, with a board of cheese. You can go with a lot of vegetables. I would say eggplants, parmigiana, for example, with a lot of salads, but also different kind of meat. Even a burger, a very fresh Nero d'Avola can be very nice. The white, even the more complex ones, are better with very strong flavor. So you can go from, for example, a grillo can go very well with a tuna steak. Of course, you don't need a very crisp grillo, but you need something that is more, how can I say, mineral and with a nice acidity and with a full body.
Yeah, that sounds good. And Becky said caponata also.
Yeah, caponata is probably the best dishes representing this area because, well, we grow a lot of vegetables. Well, agriculture is one of the main things in the south of Italy and Sicily. And, well, viticulture is always agriculture.
Now, because you're on the preserve there, do you have more like wild herbs and things? It almost reminds me of the Garrigue in the Rhone Valley. Just what I
Yeah, here we have mostly herbs. I would say rosemary, sage. There are a lot of olive groves, even the wild ones. But we also have a part of olive groves. It's just 2 hectares inside of the property, and we make olive oil, extra virgin olive oil too. We have a lot of little palms all around. And yes, there is a lot of wild plants inside of the preserve, but basically a lot of herbs that have this amazing aroma that sometimes can be found in the wines.
So,
for example,
go ahead.
The sage in the dried Zibimbo, for example.
Right. Okay. So on Wednesday, I'm talking with Mimi Castile, who is a big proponent of biodiversity that strengthens the vineyard. Do you think that your vineyard is healthier besides organic? Do you think it's healthier because you're in the biodiversity?
Well, it's quite something you cannot avoid. It's something that is around you, so you cannot really look and say, well, I'm going to grow conventionally. You can't, because you're looking at this and you say, this is Mother Nature gift, so I need to preserve this. And this was the main idea of the creation of the winery in 2000, when Ana Maria and Clara's father decided to start this new project as a gift to the future generation. So their children, their grandsons, and the future family. So they are the 4th generation, but of course the idea was to go on with further generations.
I think it's incredible. But do you think, like, if there's a drought or a frost, does your vineyard survive better because of the biodiversity, do you feel?
Well, it is used to this. Of course, also choosing the best grapes that can stay in this environment is a smart choice. Since the beginning here, we decided to have certain grape varietals. Well, Grillo is the tradition, but having certain grape varieties such as Nero d'Avola, for example, or Syrah as a red grapes that can perform well even in very dramatic conditions with no water, little rain, dry climate. Same thing for a very light Frappato or Nerello Mascalese that stay in areas completely different from here. Well, Frappato, it performs very well in drought too. The best examples are on the other side of the island, but the Nerello here perform beautifully as a rosé, not a red, because here you have different conditions. So you can take the more elegant, light version of Nerello and not the strong and, you know, and the longevity and the long shelf life you can find on an Etna wine made with the same grape.
Wow. Well, that's the end of my questions. I want to thank you for your time. Show us your face again to say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, on the other side, on the other side. Okay.
It's special to see this part of Sicily. I've never seen it before. So
well, we wait for you.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah.
Invite you, actually.
We invite you basically, but it was, well, normal to say, well, yeah, come here whenever you can.
Really soon.
Yeah, finger crossed.
Thank you very much.
Bye. It was a pleasure, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.